Hi friends, this is Anna with Scrapping, Stamping, and Stuff. I wanted to stop in and be with you for a minute and share how to get your greeting stamped straight. How many of you and how many times have you stamped a greeting crooked and had to waste that piece of paper, or you threw it out or flipped it over, or just had to start all over because you stamped something crooked? Especially with greeting stamps, it can be tricky sometimes to get them stamped straight. So I have a couple of tricks. I'm going to show you my trick for stamping greetings straight with a regular block. I'll show you another trick for using on the Stamparatus. So let's start with using a stamp and a block. And I am purposely using red rubber stamps and not photopolymer, because red rubber ones are slightly trickier because you can't actually see through them. So we're going to try this. We're going to do it the hard way, and hopefully we can get this to go the way we want to with a straight greeting. So here's what I do. I line the stamp up with a line on either my mat that I work on or my grid paper when I have my grid paper out. So you want to line that stamp up so that it is even with the stamp. Looks like the garbage man is here. I'm guessing you can hear that. So the next step is to don't really pay attention to the stamp. Pay attention to the lines on your mat or your grid paper. And when you place this block down on top of that stamp, just look to see if this lines up with the lines back behind. Okay, so the next step is to put your paper out. Let's use this one right here. And again, you're going to line that up with your mat or your grid paper. Ink your stamp. And again, we're not looking at the paper. We're going to look to see if the edges of our block line up with the lines on the mat. It's a little tough for me to do because my head can't get right above my work surface because of the camera, but that is pretty good. With these long skinny ones like this, these are the hardest. And if you line everything up, like I said, line up your stamp with the lines, then your block with the lines, your paper with the lines, and then when you stamp your block with the lines, you should get a straight stamp on that. Now let's talk about the Stamparatus, because it is possible to get crooked stamps on the Stamparatus. It is more difficult, we'll say. The Stamparatus definitely helps to get things lined up straight. First, if you're doing small pieces like what I just did, I shared a video here recently. It's on YouTube. It's called How to Stamp Small Pieces on the Stamparatus. And basically it involves cutting out a piece like this with a little notch out of it. You can put your paper in, and it really helps to stamp straight with the Stamparatus, since it's really hard to put small pieces up here in this corner. So check that out if you are interested. Let's talk about a little bit larger greetings. And there's two ways I recommend for this. So one is figure out where your paper is going to be and approximately where you want your stamp. And now I'm going to move my paper out of the way down to, okay, so the top of the paper now is where the bottom of the paper is going to be when I move it back into place. So now I can see the grid lines on the back of my Stamparatus, and I can use those lines to make sure this is lined up straight. So once it's lined up where I want it, I can bring this plate over, press on it to mount that stamp, and now I have these grid lines in the plate. I can look through to make sure that it is in fact straight with the Stamparatus. Looks good to me, so that should work. Now the other option is, this can be a little bit easier. If you want to try it this way, is basically just line up your stamp on top of your paper where you want it. Try to get it straight. and then bring this plate over and just check to see if it looks how you want it to. Okay, I think that looks good. So there's two different ways of doing that. Let's go ahead and ink these and stamp them. And we got some nice straight stamps, okay? So those are a couple of tips. Hopefully these help you when you are lining up stamps on your projects, and hopefully it saves you some wasted paper. Thanks for stopping in, and I hope to see you again next time.